Often we have what appears to be a simple task, and yet we keep pushing it out and pushing it out. And we're like, okay, that's so simple. Why can't I just get myself to do it? If you're finding yourself in that position, it's usually because the task is more complicated than you're giving it credit for, and probably has some key components to it that are overwhelming. Your subconscious knows this and just pushes it out and says, oh, that's just too much. I know that kind of task. I hate that. Let's just move on. And it might not even be conscious. You might not be thinking through why it is that you're pushing it out. So let's give you an example of a type of task like this and how to break it down and use some tools to make it more manageable. And what I find is when you do that, when you get in the habit of doing this, then you're no longer pushing things out. You're switching a light on and saying, wait a minute, I know how to handle this. I'm going to break it down, and here's how I do it. So having a system in place is going to be really helpful. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Michael Joseph Ferguson. Hope you're all doing really well. In today's episode, we'll be discussing how to break down overwhelming tasks using mind mapping. And as many of you have heard me talk about, and you've taken our workshops, that mind mapping can be the crucial tool to make your life so much better when our brains are wired this way. So this is an excerpt from episode 64, Mastering Mundane, Overwhelming, and Non-Stimulating Tasks. And I was just going through some of the episodes the other day, and I thought, this one's perfect. It's tight, it's short, and it really takes home, like, here's how you take an overwhelming task and break it down. And it felt like good timing because twice a year we hold our ADHD mind mapping masterclass, which is by far our most popular workshop. The next one will be happening on February 28th with a follow-up session on March 3rd. Comes with free software that has no limitations. If you haven't taken it yet, I highly recommend it. We try to keep it affordable. For more information, you can go to ADHDmindmapping.com, and I'll share a little bit more at the end of this episode. Also, we have our first free community online event in many years now, and this will be happening on February 24th. This is a time for all of us in the community to get together and talk, connect, ask us questions, connect with people from around the world. I will most likely be sharing a bit about the new book, because I think I've got enough to share at this point, which will be coming out in spring. If you are interested, you can just go to drummerinthegreatmountain.com, join our email list, and you will get the invite. So I hope you can join us. And now here's how to break down an overwhelming task using mind mapping. So let's take the task, clean my home office. So clean and organize your home office. Let's take that task. So clean my home office, that's 4 words. Super simple, right? Why can't you just get that done? Well, if you came to me and I was coaching you and I heard that, I would say, whoa. I'd stop you and say, that's too broad. You need to break that down. That's too broad of a task. What's involved in that? So, and this is where the overwhelm comes from, because you don't have a clarity on what needs to happen. The lack of clarity causes overwhelm, and then you push it out. So let's take a tool like mind mapping, which I love for breaking down tasks. To me, that's like the tool that really changed my life. If we were to map this out, if we were to do a mind map on this, we'd put in the center of the mind map, clean and organize the office. Okay, that's the central topic at the center of the mind map. And then let's take 3 big potential, what are the big 3 categories that would be involved in cleaning the office? So maybe there's a ton of boxes that are all over the place that have half-filed documents. Maybe they're from even 5 years ago, and they're scattered around the office. So let's say that's one category. So let's make that as one subcategory and call it boxes. Okay, that's one thing we know we got to deal with. And then let's create another branch, and let's say top of the desk. Clearly, that's one that it's messy. There's papers everywhere. And when you go into your home office, instead of being clear about what you need to do, you feel overwhelmed because you know you have to do all this extra work in order to get to a place where you can be productive. So top of the desk, let's call that branch number 2. And let's say the third element of this task of cleaning your home office is you're looking around the room. Your shelves are kind of in disarray. There's books kind of tipped over, and it's just not clean and organized. It doesn't feel zen. And so when you see it, you're just like, oh, okay. You step in, then you step back out. You're like, I pass on that. I'll work from somewhere else. These are common examples from other coaching clients that I have, and I also myself. So I'm in this boat as well. So now we have a mind map. At the center of the mind map, we have clean the home office, and then we have 3 main branches: boxes, top of desk, and shelves. So we've taken now this task of clean your office and we split it out into 3 big categories. Good start. Now let's start to break those down, again, using the mind map. So we know there's boxes of non-filed paperwork, some that are like 5 years old. So let's put on that task, assess each box and ask myself 3 questions. 1, is there items in this box that I need to keep in file in my main filing system? Let's say that's one example. 2 is what can be thrown away. And 3 is, can I just move that box into storage? Okay, so now you've given yourself a directive. If you're working on boxes, now you've got 3 things that you know you need to do in order to assess that box. Way easier. Now you can go, okay, here's box 1. Let's look at it. I've got my checklist now. Let's go through the checklist and see what I need to do. And at the end of it, you're either throwing stuff away, you're filing it, and at the end of that, you're going to put the box in storage. And hopefully you have nothing left, and then you can just put the box away. So boxes, you fleshed that out. Just took a couple minutes and you're clear now. Here's my directive when I'm handling a box. This is what I need to do. So let's move on to the second branch, which is top of the desk. So tons of paperwork there. Filing the paperwork is clearly going to be one of the components to it. So that's going to be task number 1. 2 is throwing anything away that needs to be thrown away. Maybe there's, or put away. Maybe there's cups and things that you need to put in the sink or whatever, depending on the level of catastrophe that is your home office. So that's number 2. And 3 is just organize. So anything that needs to be moved to the desk to make your work life more wonderful. What else needs to happen in order to really straighten out and make your top of the desk really nice? Maybe you have a place for your planner, and maybe putting your planner there in the morning is going to remind you to get up and go and do your planning in the home office. That's one way to think about it. So make your list for that. Go through your checklist. What am I going to do on the top of the desk to take that and make it into something that's zen? So at the end of it, you feel like, okay, that task was handled. And then 3, let's say the shelving is kind of in disarray. Well, this might be the easiest one. So we might put that last, because last or first, maybe you put it first in the list because you want to make some progress, and that's cool too. It's good to feel like you're making progress. But so for the shelves, it's just straightening. Maybe it's not that bad. It's just, arranging some books, moving things around. Maybe there's a couple items that need to be moved. Give yourself your list for that branch. So now we have boxes, top of desk, shelves. We have a clear action item list for each of those subcomponents. Then you prioritize, and this may only take a second. You might say, okay, well, actually, the top of the desk is the primary piece because I need to get work done. So let's call that number 1, and let's make that the priority because it's affecting my ability to work. And maybe there's some key pieces of paper on there. Maybe there's bills that need to get paid. Those need to be sorted out. And maybe you go, okay, well, boxes is second, and then shelving is third. Okay, so awesome. Now you've got your map. You've got 3 sets of action item lists that you can go through and split this up potentially into sessions. So we have session number 1, maybe I only got an hour today to work on this. So let's start with the top of the desk. And now you've got your task list. You're clear now what you need to do, and you're just going to tackle that. And you tell yourself, that's it. If I handle the top of the desk, I'm done for the day. Great. Then maybe you say tomorrow, no, that's not going to work tomorrow. Maybe the weekend. Okay, I can schedule maybe a half-hour session on the weekend to handle this again. You get out your phone, you make a reminder to yourself for Saturday morning at like 10 a.m.
10 to 10:30, you got a window. And so now we know if the top of the desk was today, then that's going to be the boxes. You're going to handle the boxes in that session. And then at the end of that session, you may say, okay, well, let's schedule the next one. And you probably can get the boxes and the shelves done in the same session. So that's 2 sessions and you're done. So as you can hear from that example, this all sounds blaringly simple, but we forget to do it. So pick your task. You can go through that same basic planning method and do your mind map and extract from that a clear action item list and see if you can split it out into sessions if it's too big of a task for you to handle in one session. So start with what is the task that's getting pushed off. 2 is ideally do a mind map, put the task at the center of the mind map and then split it out into its main components and then drill down your action item list per component. And then you can take it and split it up into multiple sessions if you need to, with a reminder to yourself on your calendar so you can come back to it.
Okay, pretty good, right? I went back and listened to that episode a while back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. I needed to pull that one out. So hope that was helpful to you. And if you'd like to join us on our upcoming mind mapping workshop, we will be holding that on February 28th with a follow-up on March 3rd. And as you listen to the podcast, you kind of get, okay, we'll be covering, talking about how to plan your day using mind mapping out large projects, fleshing out writing assignments, problem solving, brainstorming. Mind mapping is such a useful tool. You can learn more about it at ADHDmindmapping.com. Also, February 24th, live online community gathering. Come and join us. We'll be connecting, talking with people from around the world who listen to this podcast. You can ask me questions. I'll probably be sharing a little bit about the new book that should be coming out in spring. Question mark. Hopefully just about done. But just would love to connect with you. There's such an amazing community that has sprung up around this podcast. And I love connecting with all of you. Creative types, people from all over the world. Please come and join us if you're interested. Totally free, no obligation. Just come and hang out. So February 24th, if you are interested, just go to drummerandthegreatmountain.com. Right on the front page, just join the email list and we'll be sending out invites probably next week. Okay, that's it. So until next time, be well.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to learn more about the book, The Drummer and the Great Mountain, visit drummerandthegreatmountain.com. To join us on social media, click the links at the top of the homepage. Help us spread the word. We're a small press and reviews really help. If you've been enjoying the podcast or the book, consider writing a review on iTunes, Amazon, Goodreads, or your podcast app. If you're new to the podcast and want to quickly get up to speed on the concepts we discuss, check out our free 5-day mini course. Visit drummerandthegreatmountain.com/mini course. If there's a topic you'd like us to cover on future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email at info@drummerandthegreatmountain.com.